Hey, assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Okay, so I couldn't post yesterday because I was exhausted, so I totally fell asleep. But I will tell you about my day yesterday. Uh, First things first, I was craving some chocolate, and I've had a really good experience thus far with German chocolate. So, uh, remember I told you that I met someone on a plane, and so he told me that this was the best place for chocolate. So it was the best chocolate he's ever had. And there were these two um, very lovely girls who worked there. I forgot their names. But it's this like chocolate factory and you can write things on chocolate. So I was like, cool, I'll go there, check it out. And I'll tell him you sent me. I went there. It was kind of hard to get to. I bought the day pass, by the way, because I didn't want to get stopped by police again. And I walked in the wrong direction. I was walking in a parallel street. I was just asking for directions in German without any English. They must have thought I was a foreigner, like a Turkish immigrant or something like that. But I just kept it up, even though I didn't fully understand where they led me. I was getting used to the cold, and I like walking and just seeing new places. So I just kept walking. Kept asking for directions, then walking, asking for directions, then walking. It took me quite a while to get there. But in the end, I found it, and it looked like it was close to closing. So it was just 2 hours away from closing, and there was nobody there but this one lady, and she wasn't one of the two ladies who my friend, well, I guess I could call my friend or acquaintance or plain buddy, mentioned. She was very nice though. Um, I tried like all these different types of chocolates. They have all these samples. Then I ended up buying this, which is very interesting. There are these balls of chocolate with nuts or something. And I also bought this, which is this big piece of chocolate, and then it has different things, different spices all over. So I thought that was really interesting. It seems like a creative place. I couldn't write anything. I wanted to write geil, which means cool, but also has a bad meaning as well. But even children use the word, so I wanted to write that because I've had a funny experience with it thus far. Some old people don't seem to like that term. And the lady was so nice. She said she was from of Uzbeki background. She spoke broken English, but I'm noticing when people say they speak a little bit of English, that means a lot relative to my German. So I feel kind of bad saying ein bisschen because it just doesn't seem right. And then here's what happened. She gave me a free chocolate covered date, which is worth €1.50. That's quite a bit. And she's like, one of those two girls actually invented it, and I was like, yeah, we have that too in the Middle East, and I've had all these dates from all over, and I love dates. I've had them from California, Egypt, different parts of Egypt, Damascus, Saudi Arabia, all these things. In fact, I brought some dates over from Saudi for my relatives here. And then she even gave me this piece of candy for free too, and it's worth I don't know, probably something like €3. I'm basing that off the other stuff there. And she's like, yeah, the wrapper isn't perfect, so you can have that as well. It was very nice. However, there was a misunderstanding. I was like, okay, nice to meet you. Have a great night. And she came to shake my hand, and so I don't shake hands with females because of my own personal, religious views. I don't touch females. And so I was like, oh, though it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm sorry, I can't shake hands. And she was like, okay, she smiled back. And then as I came to grab my stuff, she came for it again. I was like, I can't do this. And I was trying to explain. It was very difficult. And and then she asked me my religion, and I told her I'm a Muslim. And so she just smiled and was pretty cool about it. However, before going there, and I just remember this, I stopped by the Wall Street Institute. And I think there's only one Wall Street, the one I know that's in New York and in the US. And it said like learn English and all this stuff. So I came in and I just wanted to find out more information. I don't know, may come to Berlin for 6 months to a year. I can work and at the same time improve my English. However, when I got there, this I started speaking English. I was like, I want to find out more about your institute. I don't know if you know, but I love reading about second language acquisition, linguistic theories. I just love languages in general. And so there's this guy who's obviously from England, and so the lady who greets me in the front, she's like, "Oh, it seems like you're coming to find a place to work, and you've met the right person because I hire people, and probably not coming to learn because of your accent." And then he's like, "Oh, you've got it all wrong," in his English accent. I know I'm doing a terrible impression of it. And he's like, his English is so messed up, da da da. It's not even the proper English, da da da. He starts laughing in an arrogant fashion, and so I'm like, yeah, he's just mad that the best of his people came over to the U.S. Yeah, yeah. I don't really mean that. I respect all people, but I had to say something in return. And he's like, "Those were the Irish," and he was saying it in a very arrogant way, like the Irish were lesser peoples, which reminds me of Jonathan Swift's A Modest Proposal. He also wrote Gulliver's Travels, which is a great book where I mean, it's a total satire on how the people look at different races and different ethnicities within one country or one island or different parts of a group of islands. And so I don't know. Racism is just it's never logical. There's never any logic behind it because if you get into philosophically and you start talking about one person being better than another, then you say, okay, based on what? And if you base it on height, there's always someone taller than you. If you base it on how fit you are, there's always someone who's more fit than you. And how do you define fit? And it just gets too crazy, and it's illogical. It's illogical to be racist. It's illogical to say that you're the best race, you have the best language, you have the best anything. I mean, we have preferences and stuff, but I don't know. Stupid argument. I guess it should have been better if I just had stayed quiet and laughed at him. Anyways, when I went to shake this hand, or she went to shake my hand, I was like, "It was a pleasure to meet you. I'm sorry, I don't shake hands for the religious reasons." She was like, "Oh!" And she like backed off like 2 or 3 steps, and she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And she just walked away. I was like, "No problem. It's normal." So whatever. Um, then I went back to shower and check this out. Very funny story, and it's all part of the experience. That halfway through the shower, I'm still covered in soap and shampoo. There's a little flame that keeps all the water hot, and so that went out because some air came in or something, and so the water was so cold I wouldn't have drunk that water. That's how cold it was. I still was like, come on, gotta be a man. I remembered camp. It's much colder than camp, but camp was kind of similar where you just jump in and like jumping into a cold pool. I just had to do it. So that's an interesting thing. But again, that's part of the system that's going to be changed. Um, a few um, places that I went to today. So I chose to go to the Brandenburger Tor, which is the Brandenburg Gate. It's this really famous gate. It's the symbol of Berlin. It's a place you have to go if you go to Berlin. There are many pictures of it during the Cold War. The Berlin Wall was very close to it. They have soldiers next to it. I saw it at the exhibit for the Berlin Wall. So I went there, and it was so beautiful. And you had this huge Christmas tree right in front of it. I took pictures of them all, and I'll be uploading them to my Flickr account, which I'll post in the info thing. And I don't know. I was just blown away. It was just so magnificent. It was such a magnificent structure. And lucky for me, there was a guy playing his acoustic guitar, and he was playing a Stairway to Heaven, and it was a really good moment. Even though if you do play some of the lyrics backwards, it sounds like some satanic stuff. It was a beautiful song, and I love the melody of it. So I had to go and give him a few uh, some coins or something, and then he was like "Guten Tag," which is something very simple, a good day or hello. But I don't know why I couldn't reply. I was like, and I just walked away, thinking I was stupid. Um, some interesting difference. Oh yeah, and then I went to the Bundestag, or however you say it, their parliament building. But I was asking them, I was like, where is the Reichstag, which is the parliament building, the name during Hitler's regime? Because Reich means like nation. It was the German nation, and this whole nationalism thing. And so a lot of people didn't know what I was talking about, or they must have thought it was weird because I heard only the older generation uses this term. So I felt so ignorant, but it was okay because finally I was led to my way. In fact, a young guy didn't even know where it is, and he said it's somewhere over there. And it sounded like he said something. He's like, "How do I not know where that is?" Made me realize that, in my own city, my own town, my own country, I haven't been to a lot of the places, the historical monuments and the historical sites. And so, I recommend everybody take advantage of that. It's really interesting stuff. I just touched the Brandenburg Gate, and I was like, I'm a part of history now because this wall has seen so many events. It's seen so many things, and to just touch it and be a part of that is just it's a magnificent thing. It's very beautiful.